Hi, everyone. Welcome so much. I am Emily Anderson with FranNet, and I'm here with my colleague, Blair Nickel. And we've got a panel discussion today, and I am absolutely thrilled about this particular topic. So an ownership model within franchising that has been very, very popular over the years is semi-absentee ownership. Now, this is a model that allows the owner to work essentially part-time on the business. And that may look like keeping a full-time salaried position. It may not. In the past, semi-absentee businesses were largely based on a location, which meant they had more overhead and frankly, a higher investment. Now, those models are certainly still available. But one thing that we have seen, and if you could mute yourself if you've got any background noise, that would be great. One thing that we have seen, especially over this past year, is an increased trend of home-based businesses that can be run semi-absentee. Now, a number of professionals have been working remotely and working from home over COVID. And I was just saying, for those of you that logged in early, I've heard firsthand from a number of professionals that have found a lot of fulfillment and enjoyment in working from home and having that high degree of autonomy. And now that people are having firsthand experience in successfully navigating their career from home, it's a great opportunity to explore navigating and owning your own business and running that from home. So I'm going to introduce our three panelists. And each panelist, if you could just briefly introduce yourself, introduce your business model, and then we're going to jump into a conversation. So for those of you who are attending, feel free to unmute yourself and ask a question, or if you prefer, you can type it into the chat box. We're going to run for 30 minutes, and I think this 30 minutes is going to go quickly. So let's go ahead and get started. Frank Morrison, would you please take a moment, introduce yourself, and tell us about Manage Mode.
Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining. And my name is Frank Morrison. Like Emily said, I'm with Manage Mode franchise. We are a business-to-business commercial landscaping opportunity where our franchisees do not own any equipment and they have few to no employees. We've harnessed the tremendous potential in the commercial landscaping industry, and we differentiate ourselves by being professional and also the way we interact with our customers, our clients, all of our vendors, aka vendors are independent landscapers that are on a 1099. And like we're all here today, we are a B2B and we're home-based, and we do have a semi-absentee owner model available, working out of your house.
Thank you, Frank.
You're welcome.
Lydia, would you please tell us about Rubbish Works?
Absolutely. Good morning, everyone. So my name is Lydia O'Leary. I am the VP of Development for Rubbish Works, which is eco-friendly junk removal and dumpster rental. So it's full service on demand, and it's definitely going to be B2C, focused on the end user, which is the residential consumer. So Rubbish Works is actually part of a family of brands called Premium Service Brands. So even though it is a newer concept for premium service brands, junk removal itself, as you all know, is not new. It's been around for, well, probably hundreds of years. So we take care of the lead generation and lead conversion for our franchisees, so you can focus on scaling the business, which junk removal itself is very simple. You're teaching your employees how to drive safely and how to lift properly. So because of that, you are able to scale and put more trucks on the road. Essentially, that's how you'll do so.
Thanks. And Derek Bishop, would you please tell us about Koala Insulation?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for the time. So my name is Derek Bishop. I actually work for a company by the name of Franchise Fastlane, and we're an outsourced franchise development company. I'm the director of development with Koala Insulation. Koala Insulation, it's a full service insulation company. So we do everything from spray foam insulation, blown-in insulation, bat insulation. We work with residential homeowners. We also work with contractors. We have a very robust corporate structure, and I'm also a franchisee with Koala. So you can do this business model as an owner operator or a semi-absentee business owner.
All right. Excellent. So I know that was kind of fast and furious. So feel free if you have any follow-up questions for attendees to say, what is it again? I'm just going to be asking some questions, and Blair, feel free to jump in as well. So Frank, you have a B2B, your model is B2B. Can you tell us more about a typical day in the life of an owner?
Sure. So basically, as a semi-absentee owner, you would have what's called an account manager that would be doing your business development for you. And, they're the ones going out and making the, canvassing in the community and, doing warm calling, because a lot of our leads are warm called, they're not cold called, which is nice. And also they join networking groups. So as the owner, they're basically driving the top level new business with the account manager. They're also ensuring that the client satisfaction is meeting or exceeding the expectations. They're keeping an eye on their cash flow, finances, and KPIs. And the account manager, they're the ones, like I mentioned earlier, doing the client relationships, the business development. We have what's called quality assessments that we do on a monthly basis, because this business model has a monthly recurring revenue model. And also we have a 92.4% account retention rate year over year. Also, they manage the relationships with the vendors, and they're also getting involved in their community.
92.4 retention rate?
Yes. And
So,
guys, for the invitees on the call today, Manage Mode is based out of Seattle, and they've been doing this. The guys have been doing it, James and Peter, because they're co-owners. They've been in business since 1999, and they've been running the Manage Mode model since 2008. And we just started franchising in 2019. We're getting really good traction. We have 38 locations. Like if you broke out all of our locations in Seattle, we have about 38 territories the size of franchisees, and we have one in Portland also. Just to give you guys some perspective.
thank you.
Yeah.
And I know one question that I've had people ask specifically about Manage Mode is what would prevent the landscapers to kind of go over the Manage Mode owner and just contract directly with the
Sure.
business. But with such a high retention rate, has that really been an issue?
No, it hasn't. As a matter of fact, that does come up as a concern. And James Jacobson, when I first onboarded with them to start repping them, I asked that same question. And it's a very good question. And I would think the same thing, but he explained it like this. This is a relationship business. What our franchisees do and their account manager does is they develop close relationships with their clients and their vendors. And, a lot of the vendors, if you treat them with respect, and we're providing them with as much business as they can handle, and we're paying them every 2 weeks, it's a real win-win. James told me he can count on one hand in the 22 years that they've been in business where somebody's actually gone after their clients. And also, if you think about landscapers, their technicians, they want to be working in their business, riding the mower, cutting the grass, being outside. That's what they love and that's what they enjoy doing. What they're not good at is the business development. So that's where, in managing client relationships, because their phone could be ringing, they're on the mower, and they don't even hear it. By the time they get to return the call, it's like 8 o'clock at night, and they have their kids on their lap and their wife or their spouse or whatever. So, and then they get back. So yeah, it usually doesn't happen.
So Frank, we had a question come in, and I think it will apply this question to everybody because I think it's pertinent to everybody. So we'll go around the horn. And that was, what is the total investment of each of your companies, including the franchise fee? And we'll start with Derek.
Our total investment is going to be anywhere from 130 to 165.
Gotcha. Lydia?
Yep, total investment, including the franchise fee and the truck and initial marketing, is going to be around 135.
Okay, so very similar. Frank?
Well, so our investment ranges anywhere from 80,700 to 118. And the franchise fee is 49.5, and that includes a territory of 4,000 to 6,000 commercial properties because it's B2B. Now, probably if you're going to do this semi-absentee, it's going to be more along the 118,000 because we have, the 3 months of working capital ranges anywhere from $8,500 to $30,000. If you're going to have the account manager, you have to have, more working capital because you're going to be paying them a bi-weekly salary. And the account managers, we pay them, depending on the market, anywhere from $40,000 to $60,000 a year.
Okay. One of the other common questions about semi-absentee is how semi-absentee is semi-absentee. So in other words, number of hours if somebody's going to think about semi-absentee. Again, Derek, we'll start with you with koala insulation.
Semi-absenteeism, like early on out of the gate, it's going to take you 10 to 15 hours a week putting it into the business. 6 months in the business, it's a lot closer to about 10 hours a week into the business.
Okay. Lydia?
Yeah, I would say 20 hours in the beginning, just because you want to be managing your employees more. Well, I guess as you're getting your legs under you and learning all the systems, definitely more so in the beginning, but then it's more to the 10 to 15 later on, 6 months down the line.
And Frank?
Ours is 15 hours a week in their first year. And if they can get it down to 10 if they're not buying another territory in the meantime. And then go back up to 15 because, there's a little bit more legwork, that goes into ramping up a new territory.
Sure. Just about any, just so everybody knows, just about any semi-absentee business, whether it's service related like these guys or retail related, it'll tend to be a little bit heavier loaded up front, and then you can ease back. So
yeah.
And the other thing, Blair, I'm sorry, Blair. The other thing I wanted to add to that, we're a Monday through Friday business, and because it's B2B. And what's nice about that, it's a lifestyle business for those of you that, work-life balance is important for you with your families, or, just to do your own little, your own things on the weekend. And that's the other nice business model characteristic of Managed Mode.
So can each of you kind of touch on, here in the Pacific Northwest, one of the things that's important to people is kind of a green component, right? I think everybody in the Pacific Northwest would nod their heads like, yeah, it's important to us up here. Can you kind of chat just for a minute on kind of, hey, how is your business also green? As we look at the green koala insulation logo. Derek, we'll start with you.
So insulation, it does have a very strong environmental impact on the environment. We do reduce carbon footprints. If you were to look up your carbon footprint, 70% of our footprint's coming from AC or heating and cooling. So by reducing those energy bills, we do have a very positive impact on the environment. Not to get political, but it is in the Green New Deal. They do talk about insulation a ton. There is a lot of push behind it. We have a lot of tailwinds.
Gotcha. Lydia?
Yeah, so what we do is eco-friendly junk removal. So what that means is, as much as possible, we're keeping everything out of the landfill. So first, donating, whether it's to Goodwills, women's shelters, churches, and then we're recycling as much as possible. And last but not least, some materials do need to go into the landfill, but there's always ways to get creative, and that's what our franchisees are doing. So if it's a scrap metal guy that you can organize the truck that way throughout the day, that's a way that we're giving back to the community as well.
And Frank?
We're all about green. We want to make sure the grass is nice and green for our clients. So yes, we of course, we try to, with the vendors, we have standards of how to process, any of the clippings or the hedging and so forth. And our brand equity statement is with our clients is, Managed Mode helps me feel great about the way my property looks because we're invoking pride, and we really want the properties to be in tip-top shape, and because it's only going to help everybody. But we have the green business model characteristics also. The way we just we don't have like bags on the mower. Everything is like all the clippings are going back into the ground, so to speak. So recycle.
Gotcha. We got a couple of questions coming in on margins, income, revenue, what have you. Frank, Lydia, Derek, because I can't remember every single franchisor situation. Do all three of you have an item 19?
Yes.
Blair,
Lydia?
would you briefly mention what an item 19 is for those who aren't familiar?
Okay, so in franchising, franchising is regulated by the Federal Trade Commission. And when you start researching a franchise, every franchisor will give to you, usually on kind of the second conversation, and both of you are fairly, interested in each other, they'll give to you what's called an FDD. It stands for Franchise Disclosure Document. It has a number of items in there. Literally, in item number 19 is the financials on the particular financial performance of the franchisees. So usually one of the first questions that our clients have is, well, how much money can I make? Right? Everybody wants to know that. And so that is the way a franchisor discloses it. If they want to, they will disclose it through their item 19 of their disclosure document. So Lydia, Derek, you have an item 19. Frank, I can't remember.
We do not. But we do put in there, what the gross margin is that we pay to our vendors, the landscapers, and also we do publish the 92.4% account retention rate, what the average revenue is per account.
Okay.
And I can say yes, of course, because we haven't had any franchisees that have been open for a full year yet, because we're still new. But when we have a couple of our franchisees that will give you their pro formas, they're very generous with that information. I provide a blank budget template. And let's put it this way, if you go through our entire process, at the end of the day, you'll know how much you can make.
Lydia, what can you disclose?
Yeah, so I can disclose our average job size is $320, and then also our cost to get a customer, which is $56. So very similar to Frank, I walk people through how to build out the budget through the discovery process. And by the end of year one, what your revenue potential could be, best case scenario, and then also what your margins could be, best case scenario. And then I also walk you through what's the worst case scenario that could be. What if you only get 3 trucks on the road, or you only get 2 trucks on the road? So things like that. And one truck can do 25 to 30,000 in revenue per month. And I can tell you that, but then we'll break it down even more so you can determine, okay, what is this investment going to be and what are my margins looking like?
Yeah.
Thank you. Derek?
So echoing what Frank and Lydia said, I'll walk you guys through a pro forma as well, and I'll show you guys how to calculate what does a return look like being an owner-operator or a semi-absentee owner. Those are going to take different cash to run that business. For a first-year average franchisee, we are doing $570,000 in top-line sales, and that is producing a 191 EBITDA. So they're left over with $191,000. Our average invoice is $3,804. There's some more information that goes into there, but I think that's probably good enough high level, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's good enough. So, and the way that you really answer those questions, everyone, is by talking to their individual franchisees, who you'll want to speak to anyways, because you'll be able to get the answers directly from the horse's mouth. So there was another question that came in. We'll go rapid fire, starting with you, Lydia. So it was, are you B2B or B2C or both?
We're actually both. Yeah, so it's the residential customer, and you can have contractors and commercial businesses like roofing companies, for example, that you can work with.
Gotcha. Frank?
We are just B2B, but when we work with homeowners associations and property management companies, they may be contracting like with apartment buildings, quadplexes. An HOA may be responsible for cutting the homeowner's grass. That's the only time we would do residential, but we're billing the business. We're not billing homeowners because we want to keep the receivables as low as possible.
Gotcha. And Derek?
We do both. We do B2B and B2C. We do have an internal marketing department for the business to consumer, and we also have an internal B2B department that drives that part of the business for our franchisees. So we want to be close to a 50-50 ratio.
Gotcha.
We've got a question for Rubbish Works and Koala. What are your territory sizes?
You want me
You
to
want to go first, Lydia? Ladies
Sure.
first.
Sure. So one territory should have a population of around 350,000, but then we also look at number of single family dwelling units, which should be around 100,000. So that's one standard territory.
Yep. So ours is 200,000 person population. We're looking at average household income, household value, how old the houses are, how many houses are in that marketplace, and how many contractors are there. There's quite a few variables that go into it since it is B2B and B2C.
Gotcha. Can you guys share a little bit about who you're looking for? Like, who is your ideal franchise owner? Derek, you can start.
This one, so we're looking for a white collar executive that can speak a blue collar language. I'm looking for somebody that's worked in a business before, been around a business, knows standard business practices, but also you got to be able to speak a blue collar language because you're working with blue collar employees, blue collar sales folks too. You got to be able to relate to contractors. So somebody that's been in corporate America or been part of a business before, but also not too white collar to where you show up to a pitch with a contractor with a presentation. That's not going to work out well. You got to be able to speak a blue collar language.
Gotcha. Lydia?
I would say very similar to Derek. So I've always been in the home service industry with doing development for residential cleaning, mosquito control. And I think it's so true that you have to be able to relate to your employees. That is how you will scale the business, and any home service business is managing your employees, building a strong culture. We're not reinventing the wheel on installation or anything like that. So that is how you will scale. So I think that's super important.
And Frank?
Okay, so great question. We're looking, these are the following traits that are that are essential for success with our business model. Somebody who's highly motivated, and I'm probably, this is very general, probably with a lot of franchises too, as a business owner. They have a backbone and grit because our business model is a business development model, focused on exceptional service, the ability to deal with daily challenges, and being able to troubleshoot those. We're looking for franchisees or in their account manager to have experience in customer acquisition, managing people and/or account management, the ability to motivate people while also holding them accountable. You heard me mention earlier, our franchisees develop close relationships with their clients and their vendors. So yeah, especially with the vendors, you got to hold them accountable yet, even though you're developing a close relationship with them. The confidence to ask for the business. Interestingly, this is a very highly fragmented category, and a lot of our competitors are not very professional. They don't follow up. So, this gives us a competitive advantage. And when you do follow up, you have to have the confidence to ask for the business. And then, of course, we focus on results. So, they have to have high standards within excellence, of excellence with the focus on the results.
Gotcha.
Interesting question. So back to when we were talking about the number of hours a semi-absentee owner might work, and someone mentioned that not all hours are created equal. So would the owner typically be working during those traditional Monday through Friday 9 to 5 hours on the business, or sometimes more in the off hours, or a combination? Maybe we'll start with you, Derek, since you're also a franchise owner. What does that look like for you?
That one, it's really two different answers for you. So being an owner operator, that is going to be like more of like a 9 to 5, or closer to a 7 to 4 for us. Meet the crew first thing in the morning, meet those guys at 7, sending them out in the field there, work until about 4. You might do some paperwork at the end of the day. Being more of like a semi-absentee business owner, a lot of what I'm doing, I have a day job. I'm on phone calls all day long. So I'm doing a lot of stuff at the end of the day. I'm going through and doing payroll. I'm looking at tracking all the KPIs is really what I'm doing, and setting goals and objectives, and just following up with the crew and making sure that they know what they're doing and see where they need me, most importantly. Or do they need me to get out of the way? Sometimes it's like, just get out of the way, Derek, I got it. So just those touch bases, but you will host some phone calls throughout the day. The most part, it's probably gonna be towards the end of the day with a semi-absentee owner.
Got it. And Lydia?
Yeah, so as an executive model, so just want to be clear, even if you are full-time in the business, we do not want you on the truck. That's very difficult to scale if you're lifting junk all day. So during the executive model, you're definitely going to be doing it 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, maybe some Saturdays in the beginning. That is up to you, of course. And then as a semi-absentee owner, it's probably 10 hours during the week, and then 10 hours after hours. You're looking at the financials, you're looking at KPIs, your marketing, your ROI there, making sure that you're scaling properly, and then also having those critical conversations with your team. If they're showing up on time, if you're increasing your average job size over time too. So those can happen later on in the day.
And I think, Frank, I think you already answered this, but is it more typical Monday through Friday, 9 to 5?
Well, it's a good question because half of our franchisees are semi-absentee owners.
Okay.
And a lot of them have full-time jobs and big jobs, and they work primarily, they're available, I guess, we use Microsoft Teams. They're available with their Microsoft Teams if they, their account manager may have a question for them, they can just answer it. But no, it's what they want. I know we have a couple of them, they're not available like on Pacific time. Our franchisee in Eugene, he says specifically he's not available until 5:30 in the evening. Because he's got a very important management position. So yeah, so he probably does most of his stuff. It's whatever's going to work best for them. But it is Monday through Friday. Yeah. But if they want to work on a Saturday to catch up on paperwork or whatever, of course, but it is, this is traditionally a Monday through Friday business.
And any information that you can provide regarding the break-even time frame? Start with you, Derek.
That one, it's a really hard one for me to answer, and I don't really feel comfortable saying it just because I don't know all the variables. I don't know how many territories you're looking at, whether you're an owner operator, a semi-absentee owner, if you're going to finance the business or not. I would, during that economics phone call that Frank and Lydia were talking about, I could walk you through and show you how to calculate that, but I don't feel comfortable saying that with it. I don't want to give you the wrong information.
That's entirely fair.
Sorry for being vague on that piece.
No, I get it. I get it. Lydia or Frank, is there anything you'd like to add or respond to that question regarding break even?
I don't want Derek to feel like he's the only one being vague, but it really depends on how you run the business. So we can't say, yes, you're going to answer every phone call, you're going to treat your employees well. So we don't know for sure. We'll walk you through the numbers and make sure that you can look at them with confidence and determine what it could be, but I don't feel comfortable saying that either.
We don't put that in our item 19, so I can't say. But again, that's something they can validate when they put their phone.
Yeah.
We can get you the answer. We can put you in contact with franchisees that can tell you when they broke even. But
and just from my own experience, typically with the semi-absentee owner model, and you're paying somebody to run it really for you, it's going to take a little bit longer to get break even on your cash flow than if you're doing it yourself.
correct.
Real quick, so we only have a couple minutes left here. Can you guys share, since I think just about everybody on this call is here in the Pacific Northwest, primarily Oregon and Idaho, but we might have somebody here from Washington as well, just your territory availability.
The only thing I have sold out is Spokane. Everything else is wide open.
Okay. Lydia?
I'm wide open. I have an owner in Portland, but there's still plenty of territory there. And he would love a neighbor.
Frank?
I wish I could say the same thing. We don't have any availability, very little in the Seattle Metroplex. We do have some down in Olympia and Vancouver. And then Spokane has already been awarded. And then all of Idaho is available. We only have one franchisee in Eugene, so the rest of Oregon is available. And of course, California is wide open. We're just signing our first franchisee in Rancho Cucamonga in California. So,
Frank, what is Portland wide open?
yeah. Well, we have a company on location in Beaverton, but the rest is open.
Got
We
it.
have like probably 10 other territories there. It's awesome.
Awesome. All right, well, thanks. I am showing 11:29 Pacific time, 12:29 Mountain time. I had a feeling that time was going to go fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, so thank you to everybody. Thank you to our panelists, and thank you for everybody that carved some time out to get some information. I know this was kind of rapid fire. The goal was to just give you an idea about the variety and provide some transparency and specific options about businesses that you can successfully run from home. So if you would like to get more information on any of these specific businesses or other opportunities, chat with Blair or myself or your local FranNet associate. We are here to help you, safely and wisely explore your options. Thank you for the kind comments in the chat. Everyone, have a great rest of your day, and we'll be following up with you with a link to the recording and our contact information in case you would like to take some next steps. Thanks,
Thank you,
everybody.
everybody. Thanks
Thank
for
you,
coming.
everybody.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Frank, Derek, Lydia, thank you so much. Have a great
Thanks,
rest.
guys. You guys all have a good one.
All right, take care. Bye.